Welcome to a new video! Today I'm going to share with you my Dragunity deck profile that I've been working for a very long time after the ban list. Now this deck specifically is a very fun deck and it's one of my top 3 favorite decks and I enjoy playing it very much. But I don't want to waste a lot of time because there is a very long video ahead, so the only thing I'm going to do is that if you want to subscribe to the channel and see more videos like this, I'm going to remind you, if you want to subscribe to the channel and give us a little bit of your support. But yeah, also let me know in the comments what do you think, what you will change, what your thoughts, a whole process. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Like I said, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video itself. Alright, so jumping into the list itself, we're going to start things off with the tuners for Dragunity, and we're going to start with the 3 copies of Remus, double copies of Phalanx, and the double copies of Kuz. These are the 7 Dragunity tuners that I decided to run. Now, I also appreciate Dragunity Remus a lot because him and Romulus are basically, Remus and Romulus, the founders of Rome, and I'm part Italian, so that's actually kind of a nice piece of trivia there, which I really like. But Remus is the new tuner that basically made the deck absolutely incredible by itself. Even Glow and Legatus are very good as well, don't get me wrong, but like this by itself made the deck so good, because this card, you ditch it, you search Dragon Ravine, and if you control Dragunity, you special summon it from your graveyard, you lock yourself into Dragon, it can only use for a synchro summon of a Dragunity monster, and banish it when you leave the field, but it's still, you get the search for Dragon Ravine. Like, all of these conditions are very nice. I know I went from them really fast, sorry, but the point is, like, the conditions don't really matter that much. The point is, this is a ditch for Dragon Ravine and a free special summon if you control Dragunity. The other 2 conditions, or 3 conditions I guess, which is the banish when it leaves the field, the so-called lock you into dragons when you use this effect, and you can only use this for Dragunity synchros, is nice and everything, but it doesn't really matter that much. You're going to either use this for link plays or for Dragunity synchros anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. In the case of these two, I've seen people like kind of like flip around between running 2 of this and 2 of this, or 3 of this and 1 of this. But I like the 2 and 2 because I want to see them in my hand sometimes, like, you know, one or the other, but I don't want to see way too much. And I think 4 overall is nice, and 2 and 2 is just the best ratio. Honestly, you can change these however you want to, but I like it like that. And then for the Winged Beast for Dragunity, I run triple copies of Senatus, the double copies of Legatus, and the 1 copy of Dux. Pretty standard. Senatus, while I'm not using it in my combos, just because I don't really want to, because Senatus is pretty simple for what it does. The point of Senatus is that if you don't open up with Dragon Ravine, he's your best way to do things. Because if your opponent denies you of Dragon Ravine, or your combos are a little bit of, like, you know, not the best thing in the world, Senatus is kind of like your fixer, I guess. It's allowing you to grab things from your deck, which is really cool, by a discard, which also works quite perfectly. But the point is of Senatus, like I said, is the card that help you fix if your opponent just trying to deny you Dragon Ravine. This is basically the additional 3 copies of a very good strong starter card, because a lot of the other cards here do depend on you Dragon Ravine ditches or other things as well, because Dragon Ravine allowed to search the other combo piece that you need for that, as well as, like, you know, ditch the cards that you want to the graveyard. So that's why Senatus is very good and a very good 3-off card. Legatus is just a free special summon if you control Dragon Ravine or Dragunity. It's also have a nice benefit as well. You know, if you want to pop back row, pretty cool. But the point is, you just add it from your deck to your hand with Dragon Ravine, or you have Dragon Ravine and you just special summon it. And this is just like a free special summon, a very good card, and probably the 3rd best card in the new support, just going to say that out there. It's not as good as Remus and Glow, but it's still a very important card. And then the 1 Dux, Dux just need to be at 1. If you open up with the Dragon Ravine and not the Senatus, or, like, you know, open up with the normal combos of, you know, Dragon Ravine plus Phalanx and stuff like that, you can just ditch the Phalanx, search the Dux, and start your plays. But like I said, Senatus is a lot better. Now, sometimes I do want to run 2 Senatus, 2 Dux, but I feel like this is the best ratios for this one, just in case, like, my opponent trying to deny my Dragon Ravine, like I said before. And that does it for those. And then for the big boys, unfortunately I do have to proxy, sorry for the camera movement, unfortunately I do have to proxy the 1 copy of Armagram, the 1 copy of Leviton, and also I have the Mistleton. The Gram is the only card that I have to proxy, unfortunately, because, how should I say this? Gram was very, like, expensive when I bought this new support. Like, it was, like, around the $10 for some weird reason. I don't understand why, but I didn't think, like, you know, buying a Gram for that price was just worth it. So I kind of like decided to wait a little bit, and Gram will arrive for the next update, but for this update, unfortunately, I don't have it. Gram is very, very important because it's just a free extender by banishing 2 wins. It's a nice card to just help you break boards, and it can steal stuff, so that's really, really cool. But the point is that you only need to run one of each of these. Basically, they're all searchable by Glow, or you can dump them from your deck to the graveyard if you need to. In the case of Mistletoe, this is the only one that you want to add to your hand with Glow, and he's kind of like the main combo piece. But because of you having, a lot of cards that like your opponent will want to try to negate before, like your Dragon Ravine, your Gaydurg, and other stuff before of you even getting into the Glow, you shouldn't really worry about running more than one. Plus, running more than one is just a brick, and technically we do run multiple copies of Glow, so one copy is fine. Leviathan is just the card that help you facilitate some of your combos, which is pretty cool. And these all are very, very nice as the one-offs. And that does it for the Dragunities, and then for the additional cards that support them, we have, first off, the double copy of Mist Valley Baby Rock, the 1 copy of Redmed, the 1 copy of Tempest, the 1 copy of Garuda, the 1 copy of Zephyrus, and then the 1 copy of Buster Destruction Sword. Basically, these are all the cards that you want for the combo, and very, very important ones. Mist Valley Baby Rock, you add it with the Gator, you discard it with a Gator, you get a 3 extender, very, very good. It's a tuner, it's a very good card, it's helping you get into your Link of Romulus, or just into your other plays if you need be, so 2 copies are very, very important. Redmed is the other option to summon with a Tom. Leviathan is like, the first one, but this is the second one. Most of the time I actually like to summon this than the Leviathan. I like to get the Leviathan later because of the effect of Tempest, because we do run the Trishula Fusion. So I do like to get the Leviathan with the Trishula Fusion effect rather than get it with Atom, unless specifically the combo require that. But the point is like these 2 are very, very good. They're very, very powerful and just help quite a bit. And these 2 are additional extenders. Garuda might actually look like a weird one, and you can cut it if you want to, but I think Garuda is just like an additional kind of like your old Legatus. This was like the old Legatus back in the day. It's a free special summon, you banish a wind, you don't really care, you free special summon it out of your hand, and it's giving you sometimes the final extender that you need. And, like I said, because you're sometimes going into the Trishula, you're going to have the extra card in your hand, so Gator can discard the Leviathan and just keep this in hand, and this becomes the final extender that you need for first combo, which I'm going to show you. And then in the case of Zephyrus the Elite, just a good card, and this one is just a card that helps you lock your opponent. And then for the hand traps, which is the last section, double Ash, double Bell. There's really not too much to explain about these. These are the hand traps that you can run depend on what you see in your metagame. I don't really have the place to run playsets of these. I only have the place for 4, so I decided to go with 2 and 2. I also run the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, so we technically run 7. But you can do with your hand traps and your flex spots whatever you feel like it. But that does it for the monsters. Now I'll move on into the spells. And for the spells, I run triple copies of Ravines, 1 Terraforming, triple Glow, 1 Divine Lance, and 1 Monster Reborn. These are the, I guess 9 spells that I like to run. These are all very, very important for what they do. This is a Reborn spell. This is a combo fixer if I need the specific tuner, Phalanx or Kuz. Very, very good. This one is your Searcher. This one is the Searcher for your Searcher. Having the 7th copy is actually important because sometimes you want to see 2 Dragon Ravines if your opponent negated the first one, or you just don't care because you can ditch the second one if you have it in your hand. And then Glow. Now, Glow, I run it originally at 2. But the reason why I decided to bump it up to 3 is called this format. And also just because I want to hard draw it. Because this is a very, very strong card to even hard draw. If you hard draw into it, it's making plays a lot better. It's like if it's become one of your cards off combo. Now, again, like I said, the format is also problematic for this deck because your opponent is going to run more cards like Effect Veiler, Infinite Impermanence, and Draw and Lockbird. And having the card in your hand already to maybe this will be the card that your opponent will draw and lock after is actually very, very good. And also just like the card is very powerful. Just in general, it's a very good card. It's allowing you to do so many things. And I felt like running 3 is important. You can cut this down to 2 and run additional hand trap if you want to. I just felt Glow does so much for the deck, so I decided to bump it up to 3 instead of running it up to 2. And then for the traps, which is the last section, I run only 4 of them, which is 3 imperms and the 1 Dragunity counter trap. These are also very, very good. These are hand traps, and this is actually a very important card that I don't see a lot of people run. I think this is a very, very good card. Being able to have the so-called, additional extension is very good, because one of the, or should I say, like, not extension, the additional negation is very good, because sometimes you want to kind of like put even more of a hurdle in your opponent, Dark Ruler no more you, or, what are called? Droplet you, so you want to put something that kind of like interact with them. And since we run 3 glow, the chances to drawing into glow is bigger, so basically you have the chance to maybe add this or the Divine Lance, depending on what you need to, from your deck to your hand, instead of adding the glow. So that's actually very, very good, and I like this card a lot. But that does it for the main deck. Now we'll move on into the extra deck. And for the extra deck, we'll run the 1 copy of a Reed Bear, Savage, Crystal Wing, Double Barca, Gatorg, and Vadriana. These are the, well, I guess 7 synchros that you like to run. And these are all very, very important. A Reed Bear, Savage, and Crystal Wing are just like your interruptions. And then Barca is basically your soul charges, and you do need in the standard combo 2 soul charges to perform the play, so these are very, very important, and I like to run them at 2. Technically, you can maybe get away with 1, but I feel like 2 is just really, really good now that we lost Elpy. Gatorg is just Gatorg. It's just a card that's allowing you to do all of your plays. It's a very, very important card. And then Vadriana is just a card that allowing you to fix sometimes plays, and allowing you to maybe even go into OTKs and stuff like that. So the 1 copy of Vadriana is very, very good. It's giving you the ability to fix the plays that you need to. So 1 Vadriana, very, very nice. And then for the links, Lucky Firebrax, Romulus, Destruction Sword, Link Monster, Protector Whelp, I guess, the Heretic Seal, Pisty, and Striker Dragon. These are the 6 Link monsters I decided to run. Now I need to explain these quite a bit because I think there is a little more explanation in these. In the case of Romulus, the Protector Whelp, Heavenly Spheres, and Pisty, I don't really need to explain. These are all very, very important for the combo. Interruption, these are just part of the combo. But in the case of these 2, I do need to explain these. Striker Dragon, I like it more than Triple Burst. Because with the Striker Dragon, you do have the ability to get the additional monsters that you need, without banishing something very important for the Trishula play. So just having turn like, a level 4 lower monster like dragon into this instead of like, using one of them into Triple Burst and then need an additional copy of a card to then banish 3 monsters for the effect is actually very crucial, and that's why I like this card. It sometimes I miss the Triple Burst, but I like this a lot. And then Hacky Firebrax, if you don't lock yourself into dragons, this is a combo fixer. Simple as that. And I love it a lot. And then for the last 2 cards for the extra deck, 1 Trishula Imprisonment and 1 Boomer Elpy or a Tum. Trishula Imprisonment, you banish 3 dragons, you basically banish your Tempest or whatever you need to, and then you look at your opponent extra deck and banish 1 card from there, and also banish 1 card from the top of their deck, which is amazing because you're able to get information what you're dealing with, as well as just banish the best card in their extra deck. Could be, for example, a Dragoon. Could be F-Zero Dragonic, whatever it is right now, like the new F-Zero card. Could be whatever you need specifically to banish for the situation, and that's very, very powerful. And then a Tum is just, like I said, Boomer Elpy. This was the Elpy before we got Elpy. Just summon things directly from the deck, which is very, very strong. But that does it for the deck profile as a whole. So hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Very, very cool, very, very quick. Not really a whole lot of explanations in the deck itself, but there is a lot of explanation in the combos, which we're going to jump right into them right now, because these are very, very, very long. Let's get to it. Welcome to the combo section, and in the combo section, I'm going to share with you a few combos that I think are very, very important for each Dragunity player to know playing this deck in the July 2021 format. Now, one thing I would say before we move into it is that there is a lot of sequences that are very, very important to essentially put your eyes on and know exactly the zone placements that you're playing cards, because if you're placing cards incorrectly, you can find yourself in a way just locking your zones that you're not able to do anything and proceed onward with your combo. So keep in mind that you need to place things very carefully. Another thing is that I'm going to go thoroughly for the first combo, and for the rest of the combos, if there is nothing new, I'm just going to blitz through it, because there's really no need to explain additional interactions if there no need to. But without further ado, let's jump right into the combos, and we're going to start with the first combo, which is the most standard one, which is Remus, which is the only card that you need to know in your hand, and then it can be any 2 discard of your choice from the cards that you have in your hand. It's technically a 1-card combo, but you have 2 discards to use for this particular combo. So it's 1 card and then 2 blank cards. So let's get started. Starting things off, we're going to ditch the Remus as normal combos for Dragunity, and we're going to add to our hand the Dragon Ravine. Activate Dragon Ravine, ditch the first discard, and add to our hand the Legatus. Special summon Legatus because we control Dragon Ravine. Then special summon from our graveyard the Dragunity Remus. We're then going to use Remus and Legatus, and these 2 are going to the graveyard and to the banish. And we're going to special summon directly from the extra deck the Gatorg. Gatorg effect. Add to our hand the Zephrys the Elite, and you ditch Zephrys the Elite. Yes, most of the time you want to add Mist Valley Baby Rock, but in this particular combo, you actually want to do this with Zephrys. Technically, Mist Valley Baby Rock doesn't really matter. Actually, you can add both, but Zephrys is just allowing you to bounce this card to your hand, which you actually want immediately right now, because you want to bounce the card to your hand and special summon Zephrys. Then you want to use these 2, obviously, to special summon directly from the extra deck, the Romulus. And now zone placements become important. We then use Romulus effect to add to our hand the Glow, and then we're going to use the Glow's effect to add from our deck to our hand the Mistletoe. Use the Mistletoe effect, send the Romulus, special summon the Mistletoe. Mistletoe will then special summon, or should I say equip the Gatorg, and then you can banish the Glow to special summon the Gatorg directly from your spell and trap zone in defense position. Then, Gatorg will activate its effect, and no, you're not going to add Mist Valley Baby Rock. You're actually going to start loading your graveyard with Dragunity tuners. And the first one of these is going to be Dragunity Phalanx. Then, we're going to place them both here, just because, zone placement, like I explained. And we're going to summon Dragunity, or should I say Heraldic Dragons, King of Atum. Should be called Dragunity Seal of Atum or whatever, because it's more for Dragunity cards than anything. Or Boomer Elpy, as I mentioned before. And then we're going to touch the Gatorg again and summon directly from our deck the Red MD to our side of the field. Red MD's effect will add to our, or should I say special summon the Gatorg directly from our graveyard. And then we're going to use Gatorg's effect again to add from our deck to our hand the Koos, and then discard the Koos, like I said, loading our graveyard. We then finally activate Dragon Ravine again, use the second discard in our hand, and add to our hand the Dragunity Ducks. Because we haven't normal summoned yet. We only special summoned up to this point, so we can use Ducks effect to essentially allow us to do some awesome plays. Now we're going to use these 2 because you want to get Gatorg off of your side of the field, and we're going to special summon directly from our extra deck the Buster Destruction Sword Whelp thing, Link Monster. And we're going to ditch from our deck to the graveyard the Buster Sword. Or Dragon Buster, I guess, Destruction Sword. Then we're going to use our normal summon that we haven't done yet, going to Ducks. Ducks will specifically equip the Koos from our graveyard to it. Special summon Koos, and then special summon to this zone, using these 2, the Dragunity Knight Barca, which are going to be our first Dragunity Knight Barca. Barca's effect will allow us to equip the 2 Dragunity tuners from before, which we wanted to dump into our graveyard to act as a soul charge, but you also want to equip the Dragunity Knight Romulus, because you need to have a third equip on this, because we are going to juggle this with Leviathan. So there is the need for Dragunity Romulus to be equipped through the Barca. We're then going to use the Koos, special summon, turn it into a Striker Dragon, and then we're going to special summon the Phalanx, and use it for a Pisty. Use Pisty's effect immediately to special summon the Gator and not activate its effect, and then use those 3, banish them, because they're all 3 dragons with different names, and we're going to special summon from our extra deck the so-called Trishula Imprisonment. Now, on summon, because we used 3 dragons, we can banish the, what are called Tempest, which then will allow us to do something very, very cool. Look at our opponent's extra deck, and also banish the top card from their deck, and banish a card from their extra deck, the cards that we want to, depending on what they have in the matchup. So you can even banish their Dragoon if you feel like it's a problem. You can banish their 1 Striker Dragon if you're playing against Dragon Link. Very, very good option, giving you the ability to do some very, very nice things. And then that will allow us to use the effect of Tempest, because it's banished, to add to our hand the Leviathan. Then you turn the Atom and the Trishula into the Heraldic Seal. And then we're going to use the effect of Gatorg, which we haven't used yet. We're going to add to our hand the copy of Garuda and dump from our hand to the graveyard the Leviathan. We're then going to use Leviathan effect, banish our Barca, and then special summon it out of our graveyard, attached immediately the Kuz, because, you know, we're going to summon another Barca now. We're then going to use Garuda's effect to banish any wind from our graveyard. I recommend to banish the Ducks, because you don't really have a use for Ducks anymore, because his effect is only a normal summon. And then we're going to special summon the Garuda, special summon the Kuz, use these two to make your second copy of Barca, which then will do the same thing of equipping the Kuz, equipping a Phalanx, and this time you can even equip Mistleton if you want to, just for the Savage effect. You want to equip the Mistleton because you want to leave Romulus to be the card to be equipped because it has the most attack. Then we're going to use the Phalanx effect, special summon, use it in the Gatorg to special summon into the Savage Dragon, and then equip it, like I said, with the the Romulus from our graveyard, giving it 2 counters, which I should have brought my dies, but giving it 2 counters, and then use Kuz as a 2 after special summoning it with the Leviathan to summon our Arid Bear to our side of the field. Then use the effect of Leviathan again to banish the Barca, once again the second one, this goes to grave, and special summon the Leviathan, and finally equipping it with the Buster Dragon or Destruction Sword, and giving us finally the lock of the deck. Now this is a very, very heavy combo sequence, and that's why I'm like saying, yeah, these are very, very hard to explain. This is a very, very hard combo sequence to do, and it takes a little bit of time. But this is a very, very cool idea. Like, there are different combinations of cards, but this is kind of like the baseline. You can achieve this also with different sequences with, like, for example, a discard, a Senatus, and let's say, Phalanx, for example. This can also be a thing, like a Dragon Ravine, Phalanx, and Senatus. You can achieve this also with, like, only... what's his name again? Phalanx and Dragon Ravine by doing like a weird play with also Haki Fibrex to summon the other tuners that you need from the deck. There's a lot of different ways to achieve this one, but this is like the base easiest one to learn achieving this combo. There are different additional interactions that you can do, but this combo I don't want to repeat it like multiple million times, so that's why we're only going to leave this at that. And yeah, that's pretty much does it for combo number 1. Let's move on into combo number 2, which is the anti-Nibiru combo. Alright, so for combo number 2 is the anti-Nibiru combo, and also what I like to call the safe combo, because in this particular combo we're not going to go deep into the Buster Lock plays, because the entire purpose of this combo is just like playing as safe as possible. And it's also a great combo that have different variants to get into it, so it's not like also from this, but it can also be achieved from the first hand, just in a different matter. But the point is, like, this is a safe play. You're playing this as safe as possible. In this particular combo, in order to play as safe as possible, you're playing 1 Remus, 1 Phalanx, or Kuz, it doesn't really matter, and then the 1 copy of Ligadus. This is like, if this is Kuz, you're just going to summon a different extra deck monster. The point of this combo, I'm going to say again, is just playing safe, not going too deep, and not really taking chances with Nibiru, basically. And I'm going to show you kind of like a basic sequence that you can do for that. So let's get started. So starting things off, as usual before, we're going to ditch the Remus, and we're going to add from our deck to our hand the Dragon Ravine. Activate Dragon Ravine, and we're going to special summon Legatus and use Remus effect, special summoning itself. Then we're going to use the Remus and Legatus to make the Gatorg. As before, Gatorg we'll now add to our hand and discard a Mist Valley Baby Rock. And then you're going to special summon the Mist Valley Baby Rock immediately. We're then going to use these two, because this is our 4th summon, into our 5th summon, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And put it into our side of the field and just basically, just have this as something that doesn't, like your opponent cannot disrupt us now with nibs. So now we're going to use the effect of Dragon Ravine, which we haven't used yet. Ditch the Phalanx, add to our hand the Dragunity Ducks, which we're then going to normal summon, equip it with Phalanx, and then special summon the Phalanx, and then use the Phalanx and Ducks to make the Romulus. Romulus effect will add to our hand the Glow, and then we're going to activate Glow and add to our hand the Mistleton as before. We're then going to use Mistleton effect as before again, sending the Romulus to the graveyard, special summon Mistleton, and then equipping the Gatorg. And then banish the Gatorg, the Glow, to special summon Gatorg in defense position from our spells and trap zone. We're then going to use the effect of Gatorg again. We're then going to ditch the Mist Valley Baby Rock and special summon the 2nd. And then we're going to use these two to make the Atum. Atum will then detach the Gatorg again. And then we're going to special summon Red MD from our deck. Red MD's effect will trigger, giving us the Gatorg again. Now, in this particular combo, technically you can go, again, balls deep and go into, the entire kind of, face deep into the combo again. This is kind of a little bit of a problem sometimes for that combo because, how should I say this? This clogs the zone, so technically this is the combo that you could say Triple Burst is better than Striker Dragon if you clog yourself a zone. But sometimes, like I said, I want to have a combo that is safe, that is just safe against Nibiru, safe against, extra deck monster, extra deck, non-extra deck decks, that are kind of they're not going into extra deck anyway, so the extra deck lock doesn't really matter. So I want to go into something that is still safe, still good, leave cards in my extra deck, and doesn't really just make me go deep into the combo. So for this particular combo, we're just going to use Gatorg's final effect again to just have a setup with the Zephyrs the Elite, and then we're going to go with these two into the Heraldic Seal, and then these two will make the so-called Savage Dragon. Now, of course, technically you can go into a Reed Bear if you feel like it, but it is what it is. And then we're going to equip the Romulus. And that's pretty much is going to be your end board for this hand. Now, like I said, this is the most safe hand. You technically stop your opponent from Nibiruing you if they were supposed to Nibiru you. You have a setup with Zephyrs the Elite in the graveyard. You have a decent number of cards that you can use. And you still have over half of your extra deck without using all of it, so you can still do some really, really cool things next turn. And you went 1/2 plus 1, I guess, specifically, and also a card in the graveyard that can help you bounce if you want this directly in your hand. Now, again, you can technically go deeper into this combo, but in this particular combo, if you go deep, you technically need to go into Triple Burst instead of the Striker Dragon, just like in Combo 1, but it's also there are some other applications which I don't really recommend. So this is kind of the combo of playing safe. And sometimes I like this combo that I can just play safe against my opponent, not always have to go into the Buster Lock, because not always the Buster Lock is useful. But that's pretty much does it for combo number 2. Let's go into combo number 3, which is the final one, and to show you what happened if you actually draw into Glow into your hand and why it's actually changed things. So let's jump right into that combo. Alright, so for the final combo that we're going to go over, we're going to see what happened if one of the cards in your hand is Glow. Now, of course, specifically, the two cards I'm going to use here are Phalanx and a Dragon Ravine, but there can be any different kind of combinations. But the point is that if you open up with Glow, you are going to go in through few different sequences that you can go into, as well as ending up with the counter trap as well as another interruption, which giving you another layer of protection. And that's why I really, really like also running third copy of this, because this is just making my end board even stronger. But now let's get started. So starting things off, we're going to activate the Dragon Ravine and dump the Phalanx to add to our hand the Ducks, normal summon Ducks, equip Phalanx, special summon Phalanx, and use these two to make the Gatorg, as per usual. We're then going to use Gator's effect, add Mist Valley Baby Rock, ditch Mist Valley Baby Rock, special summon Mist Valley Baby Rock. Now, of course, in this particular situation, if you really want to, you can go the Crystal Wing Lock, but we're not going to do that here. We're going to use these two immediately instead to summon the Romulus. Romulus, because we already have Glow into our hand, can either add to our hand either the Counter Trap or Divine Lance, depending on what you have specifically. But, you know, for this particular sequence, we're going to add the Counter Trap because there's technically no reason to add Divine Lance. It's just Divine Lance, you add it if you need another fixer. So for this particular sequence, we don't need another fixer, so we're going to add the Counter Trap from our deck to our hand. We're then going to activate the Glow, add the Mistletoe, send the Glow, and send the Romulus for Mistletoe's effect, and equip the Gatorg from our graveyard to it. Then banish the Glow, summon it in defense, and then use its effect again to dump, this time, Zephrys the Elite. We're then going to use these two and make the Atom. Atom will then detach the Gatorg, and we summon directly from our deck the Red Mid. Now, in this particular situation, you can technically, and I'm going to say this right now, technically also go into the Leviathan immediately if you want to change things, because you can technically go into Leviathan and then like use one of the other discard of Gatorg to get like a Remus, which Remus, if you control as Dragunity, is still a free extender, so that's kind of like an option there. But I decided to go still in the standard way, and now we're going to use Gatorg's, the effect of Red Med, to summon Gatorg once again. So Gatorg is going to use his effect again to ditch a Mist Valley Baby Rock, and then we're going to special summon it. Now, one thing that is very important that you haven't noticed probably is that we're not locked into Dragon. We haven't used Romulus or Remus or what I call Senatus effect to lock ourselves into Dragons. So now we have a tuner and a non-tuner, and we miss that particular tuner to continue our plays, so how about we'll just make with these two a Crystone Hockey Fibrax, which then will allow us to summon directly from the deck the Koos. Then we're going to use the effect of, what his name? The Forgot Zephrys to bounce the Dragon Ravine and special summon itself. Now, one thing that people need to realize is that the effect of Koos is not something that Hockey Firebrax can negate. This is not an activated effect. This is an ongoing effect that can treat it as a level 4. So you can technically go into the Barca with no problem. But in order to free up zones, we need to use these two now to make the Destruction Swords first, and then use its effect to ditch the Buster, or the Dragon Buster, in order to have it in our graveyard and also kind of like start facilitating the lock. Then we're going to use these two to summon the Barca to this zone specifically, and equip the 3 monsters that we like to equip as usual: Koos, Phalanx, and a Romulus from our graveyard to it. We're then going to special summon Koos and special summon Romulus, and then one of them, which is Koos, is going to be turned into a Striker Dragon, and Phalanx is going to turn into a Pisty. Pisty's effect is going to special summon the Gator directly from the graveyard, which we are once again, as first combo, not going to use his effect, and then we're going to banish these three to special summon directly from our extra deck the Trishula Fusion. Trishula Fusion, again, will let you to banish the Tempest, look at your opponent's extra deck, banish something specific, and also banish the top card from their deck. And on resolution, you get to add to your hand the Leviathan. Now, we can use the Gator effect, ditch the Leviathan, after, of course, adding this to our hand, and then you get to ditch the Leviathan. I forgot that this is how that works. It's not like, cost then happens. It's like you add the card and then you ditch. I forgot how that happens. So cost happens, later. It's kind of hilarious on this one. But specifically in this particular situation, we're actually not going to use Dragon Ravine again, because using Dragon Ravine again will be bad because we don't want to discard this card, so this is just going to stay in our hand for the rest of this. But we are going to use the Leviathan effect immediately, banishing the Barca, special summoning itself, and then equip to it a Koos once again. Then what we're going to do is that we're going to use these two, which we forgot to do that, to immediately summon the Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. We're then going to use the effect of Legatus because you control a Dragunity monster. It says that if you control a Dragon Ravine or a Dragunity monster, you get to special summon this card from your hand, and we haven't used this effect yet. And now we're going to use the effect of Kuz, special summon, and use these two to make the second Barca, as before. Equip Kuz, equip the Phalanx, and equip, if you want to, a Mistleton, in this particular case. Just, again, the equip that I like to go for the second one. And then you do the normal thing of special summoning the Kuz, use it and the Leviathan to summon the Arid Bear. And then you use the Phalanx and the Gator to summon the Savage. In this particular case, we can actually also equip the, what are called? The Haki Fibrex, because it has a higher attack to it. So we also get to do that. Then we're going to use the effect of Leviathan again to banish the second Barca. And let me just grab it. So you banish the second Barca, summon it, and then equip to it the Dragon Buster. And then we're going to end up the combo with also setting this to our side of the field. And still have this card in our hand. So essentially, you end up the combo, if you open up with Glow, even better. Basically, you have an additional interruption, an additional card in your hand, and 2 additional cards as well. While you do have 1 card less in your X deck and you're only left with 2, this is a very hard board to break because you have the Destruction Lock combo, you have a card that deals with things like Dark Rule and No More. Droplet's still going to be using a lot of resource to discard as well, so it's also kind of like fun in that. And also, if they don't have like a second card anyway to banish this, they're still locked out of their X deck. So this is a very, very strong end board. But that's pretty much does it for the combo section. Very, very long because these combos are very hard to explain. And now let's move on into the next deck choices, which I want to wrap up the videos. Alright, so to wrap up the video, I'm just going to add to you what specific deck you want to see from the 4 choices appearing on screen. Now, the 3 returning choices from last week are going to come back again, which I believe are Ultrageist, Time Thief, and FA, if I remember that correctly. Maybe one of them is wrong, but for the point is, these are the decks from last week that I remember. And then the 4th option that I'm going to place right now is going to be Monarchs. If you want to see any of these choices, let me know in the comments down below which one specifically you want to see. But that's pretty much does it for the video, so hope you enjoyed. I worked very, very hard on this one, and I really, really enjoyed this deck. So if you enjoyed, like I said again, leave a like, let me know your thought in the comments down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.